I've enjoyed a very good lunch at the White Horse Inn in Sutton. Had a good, well, I suppose it was like a posh BLT. It was chicken with garlic mayonnaise, bacon, lettuce, tomato, etc. Very good. And a pint of liquid gold. Not sure of the brewery for that. Didn't take a note. I should have done. I normally do. But a good pint of beer and plenty of water. They brought me a nice big litre of tap water as well to have with it. So that was great. Enjoyed that. Thoroughly enjoyed that. So just leaving Sutton now. And what I'm going to try to do, I think, is make my way out of Sutton and then do a climb up onto the Downs when I get opportunity. I'll show you where I'm planning to go roughly, or where I think I'm going to go. So I'm going to cross the field here. The path obviously goes straight across here. Yeah. Just check the signpost behind me, and then I'm planning to go up somewhere on the Downs, just over that way. Just arrived at the hamlet of Bar Lavington, and I think I have to make a left turn along this route down this way. I think I do. There's obviously a lot of restoration work going on. I should think some of these old barns and so on, once they're restored, will be very, very beautiful, but very very valuable. And there's a chapel or small church over there. So I guess what they're doing here with this building, this barn, is they've left the very ancient structure in place. I mean, that looks like the original structure, and they're going to re-roof it unless they've taken all the original tiles off, put a membrane on underneath, and they're putting the original tiles back on, I should think. Very interesting. Just interesting to see what people are up to. So it looks like I've got to go. Well, it looks like I've got to go through the grounds of the church, somewhere through here. It's got a big church in it. I thought it was quite small, but it's about as big as our church back home, I should think. Parish Church of St Mary, Bar Lavington. There we go. Just a brief pause so I can get the walking poles out. I've come up a fair way so far. Managed to find the way across from Bar Lavington, just across the road. I had chosen the right route, and this bridle way will I can either follow the bridle way right to the top. It sort of loops back in the opposite direction a little bit, but it will go up to the top, and then I can head off again. Just hear some buzzards. Or if I spot it, I'll strike off on a footpath if I see it. I might avoid the footpath if it looks very overgrown and so on, so that I've got my shorts on today, so I don't particularly want to struggle through too much long grass and so on. So I'll choose that in a moment or two. So that's where I'm heading up that way, and I've come up from down there, so it's a good steady climb, and I think it's going to be like this for a little way yet. So I'll pause here, get the sticks going and see how I get on. I've made it to the top of the climb, but you'll need to believe me, because there's no view looking back. You've got a few half views a bit further down, but I've got to the top here, and you get this sort of false finish really, because you get to the top of the down and then you get more behind you, more beyond into the distance. So but I followed the bridle way up, and it was not really worth filming through there because it was very dark, and a very good long steady ascent through the woodland. But I made it to the top. I've had a drink of my coffee, which is still warm from this morning, which is good. So I'm going to make my way along the bridle way, along the top of this sort of mini ridge, and see if the views open up in a moment or two. Finally got clear of the trees and a little higher up, and it's a great view, well worth it. A little hazy now. The sun does keep coming out. It's not as bright. We haven't got the continuous sunshine that we had this morning, but not a bad view. So I think from here we're looking back towards, in the middle ground, I think that's Sutton and Bar Lavington, and then no idea what's beyond that. I think in the distance is Bignor Hill. So that's that higher rise over there. So yeah, a good view, well worth it. And in the foreground here, some wonderful wild meadows. Completed my descent, or more or less completed my descent from the top there, and I'm heading down to a place called Duncton Mill, and I shall pause for a moment or two for a drink. But I just paused to put my sticks away and put my map away, and then I spotted these two creatures. I think one's just making a move. The other one, you can just see his head just below past the crossbeam of the gate, and the other one is just making a little bit of a move. Try not to disturb him too much. Yeah, so just approaching Duncton Mill, down the bridle way, which is marked as the West Sussex Literary Trail. Don't know anything about that particular trail, but it's another one that winds its way around this area and crosses and recrosses the Serpent Trail, probably the South Downs way. Absolutely teeming with fish. This is the village or the hamlet of Duncton, and I've had to walk just a couple of hundred metres along the main road. There is a footpath, and then the path I need to take is signed here. It's a public footpath, and then it says Burton Park Private. So I'll see what's down here. I'm getting towards the final stages of the walk, but it's been great to be out for so long in the open air, and for the weather to be so good today. It was really good to get out and enjoy that. This is never ending, isn't it? Let's have a look. There's some more signs coming up. Oh dear, and there's a cattle grid. Oh yeah, there's a public footpath sign, look at that. There we go. They don't want you to miss it. Yeah, so Burton Park. Private, no public right of way, follow public right of way, public footpath, yeah. I think we've got the message. Public footpath signs there. So we're doing the right thing. There's a very good view of the house at Burton Park. Something else to look into and consider perhaps, because I don't know anything about the history of this particular building. Looks quite impressive. They're very helpfully making sure we don't get lost, don't go the wrong way. So it's got a big complex here, this place. So lots of forbidding signs, but interestingly, I hadn't spotted it this morning. It has its own church, this building next door, which no doubt we're forbidden from approaching or forbidden from going in. We need to head off down that way, on the bridle way. But I am going to take a look at this chapel. Let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look and see what it says. St Richard's, Burton. You're most welcome. It's really lovely to find another church that is open. Very quiet, very peaceful, and an extraordinary, tiny, very simple chapel. I'm just reading some of the detail here. Burton Church is one of the smallest in Sussex. It was built circa 1075 and clearly altered a little bit over the centuries. And Burton Park was home to the senior branch of the Goring family and their descendants, the Biddulphs and Wright Biddulphs, for many centuries. The park has had several owners since the Wright Biddulphs sold during the 1890s, most notably Major John Courtauld and his family, who lived there between the wars. After the Second World War, Burton Park was home to St Michael's School until its closure during 1994. The house and its park were then redeveloped sympathetically, bringing an influx of new residents. Consequently, Burton Church, after many years of somnolence, it's a good word, is now a flourishing parish church. So it might well be Burton Park is combination, perhaps it's been made into a variety of flats and apartments. There's a marvellous quote at the top there from 1636 from Hebrews: "Obey them that have the rule over you." Now I can imagine during the period of Charles I's reign, I can imagine Charles I and Archbishop Laud being very keen to make that point as an assertion of monarchical authority and the bishop's authority at a time when dissent and other forms of free thinking were beginning to become very much established. And that's, in the middle there, that's a royal or a monarchical emblem in the centre there with the rose and the thistle and the royal standard. I've spent, just before doing this bit of filming, I spent a bit of time just quietly in here, which was lovely. Yeah, nicely back to the Badger's Inn, just after a little bit of just quite difficult road walking. Just at the end, it's the final 20 or 30 metres where there's really no footpath on either side of the road. You've got to be really, really careful.